Hey everyone, Vrycs here, and today we're going to be talking about Alan Wake 2. Now, I've recently just beat Alan Wake 2. It's been at the front of my mind for the past few days since then, and I'm just here to talk about my experience with it, my time with it, what I enjoyed of it, and generally speaking, why I think you should definitely play this game. Now, this goes without saying, but I think you should at least play Alan Wake and Control first to get a better, complete picture for what the full package of Alan Wake 2 is going to be presenting. I'm not trying to sound like one of those people who says like, oh, you need to do this until, or skip to this part, just, to get to the good stuff. But it is so rewarding, and when I look back on it, I am so thankful that I did in fact play Control, and I'm so thankful in fact that I did play Alan Wake Remastered. That's the version I played the game on, so there's that. But I fully recommend you do play those two games before investing time into Alan Wake 2, just because I think you'll get a better experience. Other than that, here we go. Now, when it comes to the history of Remedy games, I've only played about 3 of their titles, that being, like I said, Control, Quantum Break, and Alan Wake Remastered. Before Alan Wake 2, I should say. All those games, in my personal opinion, were really good and excellent, but there was always something potentially holding them back. Control, while its gunplay and level design, everything about it was fabulous, its story really had bits and pieces where it's well, in some ways it was meant to be confusing and led to be weird. There were some cases where it's just, it just didn't work together. It didn't fit too well. Quantum Break, it's also this problem was the story. The gameplay was really fun, and using the time powers was also a blast, literally. But it also had its own problems with the story, and them deciding to do a 4, part episode series to go along with the story was nice. It kind of felt it broke the pace up a little too much, and in my opinion they could have done without those, but it is what it is. And then for Alan Wake Remastered, or Alan Wake I should say, while the game is effectively a horror game, and I really do like the gameplay mechanics of using the flashlight to basically you're just using a flashlight to more or less clear up darkness and enemies and everything else surrounding that, it gets very repetitive very fast. And looking back on it, comparing this to Alan Wake 2, it seems more like a horror / action game in a sense. There's still scary moments in Alan Wake 1. There's still, jump scares or frights or anything else in between. But looking back on it, it's such a crazy, switch between, a bit of horror here to then jump to Alan Wake 2, and it's being an actual closer survival horror, and all the mechanics that are in place, making it feel more something like a modern horror game, say Dead Space or Resident Evil even. And it's I'm very happy that this is a change that occurred, and also this is what Alan Wake 2 is. It's fully a survival horror game. It relies a lot on your intuitivity, your inventory management, your being mindful of where enemies are and how to wisely spend your resources, and eventually finding more resources, upgrading your weapons, anything you have really. And I really like that a lot. I really enjoy it. There was just times where I was just going into a combat encounter, and I was dodging left and right, I was moving left and right, and trying to just be on top of my game, not trying to waste ammo. Eventually, I came around to the fact that I noticed that enemies were going down as fast as they were in the first game. I also noticed that I was quite looted on ammo, and I'm very happy to say that it's wonderfully balanced. I'm pretty sure for my first playthrough, I played on normal difficulty. Right now, the gameplay footage you're seeing right now is actually the final draft. I'm going to talk about the story a little bit later, but for the most part, I'd argue the gameplay was just a lot more refined. And it's night and day difference between Alan Wake and then this game here. Alan Wake, you have a lot of weapons and other materials, you have the same weapons you have in Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2, obviously. But even so, there's just something about it where you have to rely a lot more. You have to be a lot more, mindful of your shots. I was taking my time. Eventually, I came around to the fact that okay, I need to take my time on my shots. I need to take my time on aiming, for weak spots, or just, to basically take out enemies as fast as I can, so I don't get overwhelmed. Because you can easily run low on your, ammunition or your flashlights or your flares very quickly if you're not careful, you're not mindful, and whatever you're accounting at the time. So there's that. I really enjoy that. Also, I really like the puzzles and just the whole detective / mindscape place for both Saga and Alan Wake. Saga is a FBI agent, I should say, before a detective. So she has a mind place where she's able to put together clues, and it feels very nice. It feels very rewarding at any point when you find something and you go, I wonder how this can help me. And in a way, you kind of don't even need to do this now. It does kind of help piece together the story, and also drive to more and more stuff being revealed to you as you play the game. But there's some moments they're saying a puzzle where it's you don't really need to piece things together. Like if you're smart, you can figure it out. But there's something about it where you go into your mind place, you put together clues, and you're just like, okay, I had maybe not understood how to get to this thing in the first place, but it's, there. And I also like it just because in case you do get lost on like what you're trying to look for, you can rely on that, and it becomes very, very, easy. And then Outlook segment of the whole mind play / writer's room is also pretty cool. It's able to, I won't go too much in detail, but every time you're in a new new part, I should say, you're able to change how certain areas potentially are. Like you're able to effectively write them into, or you're able to write them into what you want them to be effectively, and that's very cool. And the change is almost instant. It's like fast. It's at least I'm playing on my laptop, which is probably not the greatest thing to play a very, very highly ultra ultra rare graphics, whatever you want to call it, on. But even so, the change was instant. It was just fast, and it was like very just like it fit it fit Alan Wake a lot because he's a writer. He's able to write up plot threads and such. So being able to just choose and pick and point at what areas what you want to be for the environment, and it changes it, and it's very cool. And I really, really like that mechanic. Another bonus is just once again the survival horror elements is not only in the gameplay, it's in the environment as well. Being to go around New York effectively in Allen segments, and then going back to Bright Falls and just visiting Watery, or visiting regular Bright Falls itself, or just anywhere on like that the play areas that you're able to go to, there is a sense of horror. Like as the day slowly fades away and the night falls, and there's just horrors that come out. It is a crazy tone shift, and I really, really love it. And I for one love Remedy's engine. Remedy's engine for the past probably ever since even before Control. Like Quantum Break was impressive. Just it was visually stunning in some places, and then even more so in Control with the big I'm forgetting the name. The biggest house. It's not the biggest house. I'm gonna show the name up on screen here because I'm an idiot because I can't recall what it's called. But even that entire area, that office space, or anywhere else in that entire play area was impressive. It visually it's stunning. And when there's destruction, and once again it was improved in Alan Wake 2, but I should say, but when there's destruction or combat or anything else going on, it is gorgeous to look at. Like in combat, I won't lie, I got distracted by the bright lights, which is kind of funny because you use lights to defeat your enemies or defeat puzzles or open up new areas and such. But it's just very, very it's good. The engine is very good. It's very solid. Finally, to talk about the story, I'm not going to try and spoil anything crazy. I'm still trying to process it. I still haven't, like I said, I'm playing right now through the final draft slightly, so I'm taking my time with that. I'm not going to try and rush through it. I'm taking my time with that. But when it comes to story, it is, like I said, in each of the games before Alan Wake 2, I should say, for Remedy at least, and I have not played Max Payne 1 or 2, so I can't really put my opinion on what my thoughts are for the story is for that. But when it comes to Remedy's stories, while they are very, I would say they are almost like a TV show or a movie set or anything else, and and that could be a bad thing. But when it comes to them, they're there's a sense of mystery or confusion, especially with Alan Wake or Quantum Break or even Control. There's always a sense, even Quantum Break example, it's a time travel story. It gets convoluted very fast. But looking at Alan Wake 2, I cannot think back to a moment where I was confused or there was moments where it's there was mystery, but it didn't feel like I was getting unresolved, or I didn't think I was going to be to a point where I was going to be left with more questions and answers. Because there was moments, I should say, there's maybe some moments in the game where the elephant really did leave me with questions, plenty of questions, okay, what does this mean for the future of the franchise, both Control and Alan Wake? But when looking at it in the full picture, I'd argue I came to see what the hell's going on in Alan Wake 2. And the ending, the character development, just the resolutions, the relationships, everything was just spot on. I cannot think of one bad character or one bad scene or one bad moment really. Maybe if I think about it more, or let it sit on me a few more days, I'd probably okay, they could have done this better in here and here. But without a doubt, this is Remedy's best story, and it's helped because it's been we had Alan Wake set the foundation, then the DLCs for that game, and then we have Control, and then the Alan Wake expansion for Control. And even though all stories were in some ways is great or really cool in the universe, the world building I should say was amazing, it still let a lot of holes in it. But here I cannot virtually see any holes or any issues with this story at all. It's just rewarding. It's rewarding to someone who has, like I said, played Alan Wake, played Control, and I'm very happy that I've put the time and effort to beat those games, and come out of those all three of those games now with a better understanding on what the world Remedy has created effectively. And like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is certain sequences. You may know what one of them is. If you've seen the Game Awards, you know what the Herald of Arcus song but that is. I thought that was a mere video or like some other thing in the story, but no, it's a full 11-minute, I think maybe 12-minute sequence. You can look it up online. I wouldn't say it's a big spoiler, but it's a moment that I don't want to ruin for anyone else. But there is another moment later in the game where you are doing. They pull out Old Gods of Asgard again and get them to do another song. And I don't want to spoil what that is, but it is incredible. And it's during combat sequence, which is like that's 3 for 3 now effectively, because we had one in Control, we had one in Alan Wake 2, for Alan, and then there's one later for someone else I won't mention. But it is just good. It's good. And like I said, it's not even those moments. There's other moments in the game where there's sequences or like, you know, just action set pieces. Not I don't say action set pieces. There's moments where it's just like, holy hell, this is impressive and this is good. And one more thing I actually want to mention before I forget. All the moments where there's like they switch between actual in-game cutscenes and then live action cutscenes, I really like. I know in the interview, I think Sam Lake said they've learned how how to integrate that properly with like they started with Quantum Break, and then they did it with Control, and now here I really like it. My personal opinion, I really like how they're able to transition between one and the other. Like it's very just cool. I really like it. If it weren't for the fact that I didn't play this year, like, beginning of this year, I would have said this would be probably my game of the year for last year, which is crazy because we had so many other good games last year come out, like Hyper Rush, Spider-Man, Bomb Rush, Cyberpunk, Baldur's Gate 3. That's a game I'm going to play later. I don't know when, but this is easily. I hope this game hasn't been overshadowed or, looked down upon for being released late and like almost no one knowing, what it was when it came, when all the reviews, all the awards came around to it, because this is easily Remedy's best work. Like I said earlier, all the issues and problems they've had in their other games or previous games, like I said, outside of Max Payne 1 and 2 and maybe 3, it is easily some of the best Remedy content best gameplay, it's a masterpiece in my opinion. It's very, very enjoyable. I'm gonna look back upon this game very fondly. There's just something about it. There's just an air. There's just a creativity. Some kind of magic that's just in my head that's clicked. It's like, okay, I understand what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do with their stories, with their characters, with their worlds, with their gameplay, with their music. Every single inch and square inch of it. I don't know if that's not a good terminology. Every piece of this game is fabulous, and I want you to, if you haven't already, play this game after Alan Wake and Control, please. I'm not on my knees, but I'm in fact going to beg you to play this game and have the time of your life. If you want to wait till Halloween to buy this game, because this is a horror game, this is a survival horror game. It released during Halloween, funny enough. Otherwise, I hope we don't have to wait another 13 years for Alan Wake 3. I know we're getting Control sequel semi-soon, but, very cool if we don't have to wait another 13 years, Even if I wasn't around for that 13 years, I played Alan Wake Remastered in 2023, 13 years seems a bit of a pull, Remedy. It seems a bit long, I'm just saying. So, otherwise, this has been Vrycs. I'm actually going to put this in a series of videos, which I'm going to categorize as randomly reviews. This was done with no script. I just spoke from like the mind, my heart, really whatever I was feeling for this game. And I hope, like I said, I hope you watched it. If you watched the whole thing, actually, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good day or night. Keep your flashlight on, and I'll see you later. Peace.